What's going on, everyone? I am DeFi Sean, and you were watching Infinaeon Friday. And we are streaming on X, we're streaming on YouTube, we're streaming on Twitch. So go ahead and hit that like button. Of course, subscribe, repost, share, whatever button it is that you have to hit. Go ahead and hit that button so that we can get this as far and wide as humanly possible. But I'm joined today by Mr. Pixels. Joe unfortunately couldn't make it. He's traveling today. But yeah, Joe. Excuse me, Mr. P. How's it going?
Going good, man. Going good. How's everybody doing? Another Friday, another week gone. More building done. Pumped, excited, exhausted, but yeah, looking forward to it, man. How's your week been, Sean? Hectic, I know.
Been very busy. Yep, been very busy. I know I was just about to pull that one up. Yes, unfortunately, we were a couple minutes late. We were talking about a couple things before we hopped on. I'd love to blame it on Joe, waiting to say last minute to see if he was going to show up, but unfortunately can't blame it on him today. That was all us. But hey, we're here. We're only like 2 minutes late, so we're all good.
Yeah, we're the massive, super important debate we were having was, should we go in this format or this format? So answers in the you're muted, Sean. Answers in the comments down there. But let us know. It was super important we got this dialed in before we went live. But
yeah, last week I looked up and like, boom, we were like, all three of us were just like in my face. Kind of caught me off guard a little.
But yeah, let us know which one you prefer, guys, and we'll set it up for y'all. But yeah, I got to go.
I'm pretty sure he was talking about the first one.
Okay, so not the zoom in one, not the Piers Morgan. I was calling it like the Piers Morgan setup, where it's like everybody's.
We must not be pretty enough to be front and center like that.
Yeah, I could definitely do the shave anyway, dude. It's well overdue. Life in the woods, you know how it goes.
I hear you.
But yeah, I suppose we'll get into some juicy stuff, Sean. Get them updates rolling if you want.
Yeah. Before we hop into the updates, let's get into a little bit of conversation that's been happening in the chat. So when it comes to token allocations, set it in the main chat. Any and all tokens that you see moving around is either for market making or for the VCs. Again, the difference between us and other projects is we do nothing in the shadows. Every single thing we do, we tell you that we're doing it. We've been telling you about the VCs for a couple months now since we first brought them on. So again, want everyone to know that it was our promise from the get-go of this that we were going to do everything front and center, from development to everything that needed to be done. Now, VCs at this point in time, if we're going to build a blockchain and we're going to build this token launcher, are just what's required. So I've kind of been like, a broken record talking about this is what it looks like and stuff like that. But I actually want to show everyone what it looks like. So what we did was we hopped on over to CoinMarketCap right here. We searched for the layer 2 blockchains. And then what we did, well, actually, let's see. We searched for the layer 2 blockchains. Actually, I had it pulled up, but when I showed you something, it went away. So what we're going to do is we're going to do layer 2. We're going to apply it. So we're going to take the top 5 layer 2 blockchains. There's no cherry picking. We're just doing the top 5. We have Mano, we have Arbitrum, we have Matic, we have Optimism, and we have Stacks. So coming on over to the top layer 2 blockchain, which was Mano. As you can see right here, it launched right here. This is the all-time chart. As you can see, they immediately dipped. And I mean, they dipped around in July, and they kept it all through August, all through September, all through October, and they continued going. So about 4 months almost to the T before they actually climbed their way out. Now, these cells right here are 100% VC cells. So Mano raised $586 million. If I had to guess, 95% of that was VC money. When you work with VCs, they're going to want discounts. So they're able to sell and actually make money off of it. It's how they operate. So the only difference between them and us is because we were smaller, we weren't known. VCs were not willing to work with us until after we launched. After we launched was when we can actually secure some VC deals. But it's no different here. The only difference between us and Mantle is the VCs got all their tokens prior to launch. So they were able to do this. And so all right here, we unfortunately had to give away the tokens, or not give away, sell the tokens after launch. So it's the same exact thing, just kind of happened in a different order. Then we're going over to Arbitrum, who raised $140 million. So as you can see, They had a little pump, which I can explain even the pumps, knowing how this stuff works in the background. So we have May right here, and we continue into June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So we're looking at the following year before it actually clawed its way out. Again, this is not retail investors selling right here. This is VCs, angel investors, all that. That's what this looks like. So the one exception, and I can tell you what they did right here. So this is Matic. So Matic had a launch right here, and they successfully launched it from a chart perspective. 1000% can guarantee you I know what they did right here. During the raise, they allocated a certain portion of those funds for the chart. When it went, they used those funds to pump the chart, which they did successfully. But when those funds completely ran out, that's when they dipped hard from June, July, August, September, October, November, December, all the way up until they had a minor little uptick and then just continued on. And they're actually still in the red. So again, they use funds that were raised to pump this chart, creates FOMO, gets other people coming, the retail investors in, raising that money. And again, once that allocation ran out, they completely dipped. Then we're moving on to optimism. Same thing. Huge dip. Again, this is going to be retail. VC is not retail right here. Kind of clawed out for a second and went right back down. The only people that looked to be really good was Stacks. They went stagnant, which is about the best you can hope for. If I had to guess, they did some serious vesting right here to be able to cause this consolidation and not this dip. That's my best guess on what they did. So I wanted to actually just not say the words, but actually put it in front of everyone to actually show you what this looks like. So there is other options. If everyone is saying this, I didn't realize I was signing up for this, this isn't what I want, we can put up a poll if everyone wants. I mean, we can shut down the blockchain and decide that the chart is where we want to focus on. We can always go that route. But if we're going to focus on the blockchain, funding is unfortunately required. So, I mean, again, hopefully that explains what we're doing so that everyone fully understands it. Oh, Mr. P dropped off. He'll be back in 1 second, I'm sure. But yeah, any questions, of course, drop them. We'll get all questions answered again. Our goal is to be completely transparent with everything. Unlike, these other big places like your Mantles and everyone, guarantee you when these questions were asked, everyone was just ignored. They raised hundreds of millions of dollars and they were just doing their thing. So yeah, any and all questions, let me know. And if everyone is interested in potentially that thought of this isn't what they want to do, then definitely let me know. Also, I did want to kind of answer another question too. We do understand we need VCs necessary. They bring funding. Yeah, they bring the money that we need to grow the ecosystem. Also, another thing too, I've heard other people talk and say stuff. Why are we doing a token launcher? So this is why we're doing a token launcher. So in my opinion, I want to show a couple of things. So in my opinion, this is, hold on, let me start here so I don't get ahead of myself. So why a token launcher, not just focus on the blockchain? So before the blockchain launched, I can't speak for everyone else, but I know everyone else was doing it. I know Mike was, I know Matt was, I know Joe was. When I tell you I spent hours every single day exhausting every resource I had to get different projects to launch on the Infinaeon blockchain, I did. And I know I wasn't the only one in the group doing it. We heard time after time after time after time, there's not enough liquidity, it's not enough TVL, it's a new blockchain, there's not enough eyes, we can't go with you guys. Literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. So we knew that if we wanted to bring eyes to Infinion, we had to get a little bit creative, because when it comes to blockchains right here, when it comes to blockchains, there are literally hundreds of blockchains. Not to mention, there are blockchains that have done it right. While I do think we're unique and we bring something different to the table, there are plenty of blockchains out there that, in my opinion, are done right and are solid blockchains. ETH, aside from the gas fees, but BNB, Solana, Sui, minus the little hiccup they had, great blockchains. But token launchers have not been done right. There's tens of thousands of blockchains, hundreds of them doing it right. there's only tens of token launchers, and in my opinion, zero of them doing right. So there's kind of like an opening, I guess you can say, in the market for us to really start creating some revenue and really start bringing eyes over to Infinion. So that's why we decided to get creative. We knew that if we just kept pitching the blockchain ideas to everyone, that it was just going to get us nowhere. Kind of like I said last week, when you're 16 and you're looking for your first job, no one will hire you because you don't have any experience, but you can't get experience because no one will hire you. It's kind of the same thing with this blockchain. Everyone wants us to have eyes on us, but we can't get eyes on us because no one wants to launch on it because there's no other eyes on it. So that's why we kind of got creative and we really, really dug in to the token launcher idea, because there's really a big opening in the market and very minimal competition compared to what overall blockchain is.
Hey, sorry there. I had some audio issues. I had to do a little bit of a reboot there, but yeah, I totally agree. And I appreciate you doing this, Sean, for the people in the community and stuff, because people say do your own research. This is a good example of the research you should be doing. You know what I mean, before even investing at all. But whatever. And that's the best way to do it too, right? No cherry picking. Pick the top couple of chains, show how they went. And it all comes down to the conviction too, man. I know we talked about this last week, but this is where the conviction does come in. Like, you got to be able to ride, weather the storms, and have that confidence in what you've invested in. And if you don't, then it's kind of on you. You gotta decide what you want to do at that point. And like Sean said, hey, if people would rather like we just focus on a token and not a blockchain, then you could do that. But you can't like have your cake and eat it too. So it's and plus you're talking about enormous raises before for all of these chains, 100 million plus. Like it was less than 1 million was the raise for this. So like you got to take all these factors into account here, like, and just hang on in there. And again, like we were saying beforehand, Sean, I don't know if I missed it there, maybe you mentioned it, but there's so many blockchains out there at the moment. Like, you need something that's going to give you an edge over that. And almost because there's such a small amount of token launchers, they haven't been done yet, having a flagship product like that and other products on top of it as much as you can. Like, it's got to stem from it. Like, it's building that ecosystem and providing products that people want to use. All these things are things that will bring eyes to the chain, eyes to the launcher, eyes to it, the ecosystem itself as a whole. So and the reality is these things take time, and then for the most part, as you can see, they take a lot of money. And even when you do have shit tons of money, there ain't no guarantees there either. So it's like, you gotta. I'm kind of glad that hasn't been an absolute enormous amount of cash, because we're so far along for such a small raise. I mean, you go to a lot of those blockchains and you'll see that they probably don't have half the amount of things that like are available on Infinion right now. So it's just the marketing trick, right? It's pushing that out and having that extra reason for people to want to come and get invested in the chain, in the ecosystem, in the products being built, all of it. So, but you got to present that to people. They got to see it. They got to, and again, once that's rolling out, you get a couple of fat green candles, you get a couple of good look stories, and the tables turn pretty fucking quick when that happens. So it's just a little spark. You just need a little spark like that, and until then, you got to have a pair of balls and have some conviction in your investment and this and that. Follow along, do what you can, get involved, pump your bag. There's, like I said, we offer so many tools. Like, it's all there for the community to use and get out there and start pushing this big, recruiting more people. So again, there's only so much like that can be done on the back end here. You can build and build and build and build all day, but at the end of the day, like, obviously the marketing is going to push, and that's been going steady. But once this really kicks in, there's going to have to be a massive community push here as well, like to get people on here, get people launching tokens, like all that kind of stuff, which is lined up as much as we can do it. But again, there's only so much we can do. We're only a small team of people. Consider ourselves, community members, pretty much the same, but trying to build and provide as much tools and resources and things like that to be able to help you keep the conviction play and help the community like drive this project forward. So that's kind of where my head's at. It's not changed. Nothing has changed. Again, I always say I couldn't give a fiddler's fuck about the token. tokens go up and down all day, every day. We don't have any control over it. I'm interested in building something. That's kind of what got me into this in the first place. There was no token. I was like, oh, great. It's like a little added bonus to have it in there, have some staked, be ready for that long-term play to add to like the work that you're going to do, right? You're going to do all this work and you're like, hey, great. I got a nice little nest egg right there. And all the work I'm doing is going to add value to that nest egg. So that's how I look at it. I mean, if it goes up, great. But, like I said kind of earlier, it just takes a little spark here. Like that's all it takes. So we just got to make sure that like we got everything in place. We got all these products built. Our marketing is good. We're ready to rock, and community's pumping. We got tools. We got products. We got many avenues to bring people in, revenue streams. Again, just need the little spark, because that's always the way it goes. Like rising tide raises all ships. So any one individual thing that could take off within the ecosystem, it'll have a massive effect on everything else. And then, going live, being transparent about everything, Lunar Pump Radio, to, pushing that, bringing people in, like it's all kind of lining up here. But, this the Solana drop and the other stuff that's coming,
Yep.
I'm super, but I've never been more positive, dude. I think it's great. Like, and again, like I said last week too, man, it's great because the community that have been here since the jump, having a great opportunity to stack their bags right now and build and grow and push this thing. So
Yep. So a thing I want to address. So as far as the money, again, I can't disclose contract stuff. It's very serious with the NDAs of it. But again, I mean, the funding is what's required. Another thing too, why we didn't just sell down tokens. I was heavily advised legally not to do that. So when it comes to this, in these deals, there's contracts in place. Everything is tracked on what they're getting, how much they're getting from a legal perspective. So as a team, I know I've never sold a token that I personally bought. 0 LP has ever been pulled from since the launch, and 0 tokens have not been sold, paid for or not. So we were advised legally to not just take tokens and start selling them, because that could potentially lead to some very bad things if any investigation or anything ever happens. So everything that we do here, I always say we stay above board. So 0 LP has been pulled, 0 tokens have been sold, period, paid for or not. So that's why we had to go the route of VCs, and we couldn't just start selling down tokens. From a legal perspective, it could have put us personally at risk for doing that.
And plus, it's a massive FUD magnet. Like,
Yep.
people know that you're in control of that. And every time you sold something down, they're like, oh, why'd you sell? Or why'd you do this? Or look, now my bag's down and you're scamming, or you're slow draining, or whatever the fuck they call it, slow rug pull, this or that, right? So that's just giving people fuel for that. If you're saying, yeah, we're the ones who are holding the purse strings here and we're doing whatever, like Sean says, when it's all in contracts, it's all above board. It's like, yes, we cannot be accused of doing that or anything of the sort, legally or otherwise, because like Sean said, it's all tracked, it's all monitored. So it's important to do that.
Yep. And like I always say, I do extremely well with crypto on calls with the marketing company in my YouTube channel. It's how I make my money in the space. And I'm definitely not willing to get in trouble for something I don't even profit off of. So yeah, it definitely had to go the route of the less legal risk.
Yeah. Totally, man. That makes more sense. What we need is everybody to pull together and shill once a day, one itty bitty shill. I'm not talking about the core 7 to 10 of us that do it every day, whereas everyone else wants a day start small. Exactly. Get up in the morning. The same way you probably come and you look at the chart. You want to come and go to the post generator and make a post. You don't even have to think. So if you got time to come in, look at the chart, and cry about it, then maybe go and make a post on the post generator too at the same time, and dry the tears a little bit and like drive this thing on. Like I said, we're trying to put it out there for everybody to be able to do this nice and easy. So exactly like Tazzy said, like, do it, get out there, help us push this thing out. It's all there for us all, so yes, Tazzy, I agree 100%. And it's going to ramp up even more. We've got a lot of things planned here once this gets going. And yes, Infinion Chain is very, very unique. And that's why I think it's so awesome. Right? And I think, that's what eases everything, the way it's all into the ecosystem, like the lot. I love it. See, lady, here for the long haul. Haven't regretted migrating TMT to Infinion. Certainly not. And shout out to you as well for that. Welcome, sir. Welcome, baby Draco. Shout out to you guys over there. What we got here, Sean? We got some juicy updates coming.
Yeah, so still
Ricardo, chill,
testing.
bro. Chill. We're coming, dude. We're coming. We have to address. It's a very important thing. Needs addressing first.
Yep. So still testing away. Couple issues have still been found. Trust me, we want to be live yesterday, but there's still little tiny bugs that we're working through. I think, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. Sharky, you as well. I just sent over 3 final problems. I'm hoping that will be all that we have to correct. I think it has to do with the private ICO, the wallets that you whitelist weren't reading right, which obviously that can't happen. There's just a couple of minor things, and once those done, we'll retest. And again, then yeah, we'll be going to mainnet here very shortly. Which we actually would have been on mainnet already because I actually put it in chat about a week and a half ago that we were going to mainnet, and we were. What happened is we realized that they didn't have the ICO set up 100% like we thought they did or how it was supposed to be set up. So after they made some changes, of course, it altered a couple things. So we went back to testing. There were minor bugs found. So we kind of like retest everything, just a pain in the butt. So that's why we're not on mainnet yet, or else we would have been. But yeah, we're super close to mainnet. And another thing too is that I want to bring up. So when it comes to these token launchers, we deal with Merck's a big part of it, kind of in the background. He comes on here every now and then, and I want to kind of show something on like, and this was kind of one of the routes we were going when before we even saw this. I don't even know when this was posted. So this is a good post right here. So when it comes to these token launchers, they all have kind of like a flagship token. They all have a token that does extremely well and kind of just ingrains itself into the token. And people hear, that token and they automatically know what token launcher it launched on. That's why we are talking to some different developers because obviously we don't have time to just straight up launch a meme token. We need people that are going to actually do it and actually run it, but we could put our backing behind it. So like, for instance, this right here, I've tracked every meme coin launchpad since inception. Here are my ethical question notes on what could make a launchpad successful. So you're going to have to establish your flagship runner, meaning you're going to have to get a token that actually runs. Now, relying on random people to come on the launchpad and create $100 million runner probably will never happen. So, the product itself or Lunar Pump Fun or Pump Fun actually have to get behind it. So the moment your community rallies around a coin, pour gasoline on it, you need a movement coin that goes up forever. Think Blanc with Popcat. Make it so deeply ingrained in your platform success that holders are afraid of selling. Jupe Studio has Uranus. Blanc Fun has Useless. Pump Fun has Troll. Bags has BTH. Rally your entire team behind one coin. And then your flash of success is your platform success. Trenchers crave new narratives, and there's no better narrative engine than a mega runner. And just kind of he like breaks down a really good roadmap on what you kind of need to do to kind of have a successful token launcher. And on top of that, we have strategies in place about different people that we want to bring in to constantly push out to their communities and developers to get a steady flow of tokens launching on Lunar Pump Fun. Because like we said, Pump Fun drained the market of liquidity. Les Blanc made it a little bit better by actually giving back to Bonk. Well, Lunar Pump Fund wants to make it better, but not only giving to Infinion, but giving back to the market as a whole. So, we just have that stepping stone, and we just, we want to be the best. We want to make it to where we're the launch pad.
Yeah. And it's true. Like, you do, like we said, big fat green candle, a big runner, that's what people, gravitate towards in this space, especially you're talking about meme coins. There's a question there from Dan. What is the plan B if version 2 Lunar Pump is not as successful as we're anticipating? Well, you got to put that into context, Dan. You got to say, like, what kind of time frame you're talking about here. Like, we launch it. Obviously, there's going to be work involved to get bodies on there. How long does it take to get this runner we want to get? How long does this take? How long does that take? So the question really is, how long are we willing to stand by the product and everything and keep running and keep pushing it, which is forever, right? So that's the goal here, like, you know. And you don't, and like we've said many times, you don't have to be like, we don't need to like take over the market share here. We just need a small percentage of daily volume, which will be enough to come back and get this, you know, oil in the cogs of the ecosystem here and get her cranking. Like, that's kind of where we just need to get. Once we get um let's say a year or two, for example. Okay, so in a year or two, Sean, if Lunar Pump Fun isn't getting to at least minimum, you know, viable volume, let's call it, to be able to sustain, like, what are your thoughts on the longevity of that? And what kind of number volume do you feel like we would kind of want to be hitting to get into that sweet spot of, right, okay, we got some money coming in, we got the products now, we're starting to generate some revenue too, and, you know, it's starting to turn over here. Now we can start keep on like pushing marketing, pushing like promotional stuff, collaborations with other tokens, this and that, try to increase the amount of runners we have, etc., etc. What are your thoughts on that, Sean?
Yeah, I mean, as far as Plan B, I mean, we're not doing any hefty Plan B strategies right now. This is our plan. It's a good plan, and we are going to give it hell. And not only that, but between us, the Twitter, obviously, you need to be all over X, which we are going to be. We have, I think, right now we're up to maybe $4,000 just in ad credits that we've saved up on X, on top of, you know, our generators that we're going to use. And if we push this thing right, there should be no need for a major plan B. And of course, if something's not working out, we can always pivot as time goes on. But yeah, let's just say this can be the runner. Again, I know people hear 42 token launches on Solana. That's nothing in this space. Everything has so much competition. Hearing there's only 42 token launchers actually was like music to my ears to know that there's that little competition. And going back to what you said, Mr. P, 1% market share would be a game changer. 5% market share would send everything to the moon. I mean, you're 1% market or 5% market share. I mean, put that in. Well, actually, you know, I'll do a little bit of math in my head real quick, Mr. P. Go on to the post generator, and I'll kind of give some. You know,
Yeah.
I like to talk math rather than hypotheticals.
Yes. Yeah. No worries. Get the calculator out. No, I'm kidding. I know you don't need one. Uh, shout out Mike too. Yeah, we bring some top peeps on Lunar Pump Fun, new communities, new chaos, new opportunities. Exactly. That's exactly it. We bring people over, and that's going to be the beauty of the ICO feature here. Is if we're the only you know, launcher that has that, and we get some good solid success stories, and you have, you know, people are saying, hey, you know, you got to go to Lunar Pump there, man, because you can utilize that ICO and you don't get destroyed with sniper bots, right? You got to hold your floor. You got to keep, you know, all your wallets level when you come out the gates, and you're not getting absolutely destroyed. You're getting 50% back. You're getting all these extra things. So all those incentives plus a massive marketing push, like, that's the game plan here right now, and offering as many products as possible to be able to, you know, uh, assist the community in pushing this thing out in whatever way means necessary possible. So that's kind of, that's where we're at, and this again is one of those products that we're looking to push out. It is, of course, the post generator, but it will be a full blown Infinion product, which any project or anybody will be able to come and use and build out, have it look exactly like what they want for their own project, for their website. Very, very close. This is getting, it's looking amazing. I cannot wait to show everybody what this is going to look like. It's really good. We've been doing a lot of work on the UI, a lot of work on the back end, building this out, getting it ready. So yeah, I'm super excited to show it. And again, another awesome revenue stream to bring in for Infinion, another awesome feature to add to Lunar Pump itself. And I know Adam is sending me some messages here now. And shout out to you, Adam. You have been absolutely like crushing it on the back end there nonstop. We will have, so he's just saying, he wants me to bring up the website. I'll bring up the website. So we'll have these in place for all our back products. Yes, so these token generator, or these post generators, reply generators, and all that, these will be in place for all our backed products, Moonboy, Lunar Pump, like all of them, right? So that all of these will be in place because they're part of this, our own in-house ecosystem. So yeah, I'll bring up, let's bring it up. rm.ai. All right, so yeah, so this is the current home page. And this is still very, very early now, but there's a cool little awesome animation here that happens, which is, I love it. But this is basically the home page, so get ready. This is where it's going to be going live. People will be able to come here and set up their own. And we're, like I said, we're working on all the UI and stuff like that. And we're going to have the PFP generator. So you're going to have the post generator, you're going to have the reply generator, you're going to have the PFP generator as well. And with the PFP generator right now, you can also generate your PFP with a prompt. So we have like an AI art generator in there as well. So you can create your PFP, and then your specific banner will automatically come in front of that PFP. So you can just prompt it, get it. So it's going to be a sweet one-stop shop, because you think about it right now, most people, when they're making a post or they're making a whatever, they're going to most likely just go they're most likely just going to probably go to an AI themselves. And a lot of people will just like take a blurb from a website, pop it into AI and say, hey, write me a post based on this, and then they come back, you copy it, you paste it in, blah blah blah. We're going to eliminate all that. We're going to have it all in-house, one-stop shop, designed specifically for you, for your project, your product, whatever it is. And to, like Sean showed earlier, you gotta absolutely swarm X, right? So that's the key. You gotta swarm it, right? So that's why we got it. That's why we got socialswarm.ai. Thank you, Jesus, that we got it. And we got also the X account at socialswarm.ai. Go and follow that too. For now, we're going to be, obviously, once we launch, we're going to be pushing that out as well. And thanks for having me have to make more content. I'm so glad of that. But yeah, just for anybody that is checking this out, just to give you an idea, Lunar Pump Fun, we're going to be pushing hard. You got your tones over here: bullish, casual, serious. You can add a link, and you'll be able to set all this up yourself for your project. Anybody can come and do it. No interference on our end. They just come, set up their account, connect their X, whatever they want to do, and then basically integrate it. They'll get their own subdomain in there as well, .socialswarm.ai, Infinaeon.socialswarm.ai, whatever it would be. And so you can just go in here, select your topic, select the tone that you would like. If there's a link in there that whoever set this up is offering for your project, they'll all be in here. So we want to go with Lunar Pump Fun itself. So then it will add these things in there. And then you go and generate the post. Super easy. And then you have you can select an image down here if you would like to add that. Again, this will all be able to set up on the back end for whatever project would come and sign up. And you can add it, you can download the image, you can copy it and paste it in once you're pulled up. And then at the bottom here, you can just go and you click your X. It'll send it right. It'll open your X app, so you never really have to go to X, right? You just come directly here. You select what you create your thing, and then you just hit the X button down the bottom there. It'll auto-fill exactly this comment up here. This just broke my brain. The Lunar Pump system ensures fairness and trust with its controlled token distribution. Bullish AF. Check it out, lunarpump.fun. Infinion. There's your hashtags in there, and these can all be set on the back end too. And it, like I said, it opens up your X app, it auto-fills, and then you just hit boom, click, and send, right? So a very, very powerful tool. We've seen the metrics on the back end of how we can utilize this with our marketing already through Zeely and all that stuff. Like the success rate that this has provided specifically for the Zeely stuff, it's turned like soft users into really hardcore strong users, because again, it eliminates pretty much all the human error, right? It creates it makes it in a cohesive sentence. It's got to do with it, and it provides the necessary tags, cache tags, whatever, without misspellings, without language barriers, all that. So it gives you that extra boost of and the rates that people use it. Like when this is available via Zeely Quest, like everybody just comes and uses it because it's super easy. And the number one thing is you don't have to think. The last thing you want, it's not like that. Even if, like I said, even if top to bottom, the project inside out. You still got to go there. You got to say, all right, what thing am I going to talk about? How am I going to word this? How am I going to articulate my post? So there's a lot involved, and it's not that, like I said, it's not that you don't understand the project. You do. When it makes the post, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that stuff, but it's just gets you over that hurdle, gets it done, gets you doing your duty for the cause, nice and easy. And again, it allows us internally, or the project owner that would be building this once we launch it, the ability to like hyper focus their messaging and their targeting and this and that. So the reply swarm or the reply generator is also going to be basically, you'll be able to drop in a link to a certain post on X that you want to reply to, and it'll generate a very, very cohesive post that taps into what's being said in the original post that you're replying to, and then it upsells your product on the back end of the comment, right, or the reply that you're making. So it's battle of the AIs that's going on here. So like this is going to be a super duper game changer, I think, as a product that we're going to launch. Having this tacked onto Lunar Pump Fun 2, the projects that come out the gates that bond have the option to be able to utilize this, for whatever it would be, discount pricing, all that, and it's just going to be another massive revenue generator. And I'm hoping, I really do feel that it's going to raise that metric of the amount of projects that actually succeed or, have a longer lifespan after the bond, after the fact. And I know Item 2 on the back end has been doing tons of work on like the AI generations here. And just to give people an idea, you can re-roll this if you want to go with something else. And again, once this opens up on your X app, like you can edit it, you can format it, you can tweak whatever you want before you hit send. And again, over here, you can just change the tone. Let's go with Infinaeon for now. We'll keep it serious, and we'll add let's say the white paper link, whitepaper.infinion.com. Anyone to go and check that out. Generate your post, and the numbers don't lie. Infinion bridge fees are redistributed into a revenue share model, boosting community growth every swap. Strong fundamentals, in my opinion. Check out the white paper here. And there's your links again down there. And again, you can select any image down here you want to either download or copy. You got your option here, download image, copy image, and then boom, send it right over. So it's making it super simple. And basically what we're doing right now is building up the front-facing section of the socialswarm.ai, where you can be able to come to this website, and for your project, you can set up your own exactly like I'm showing you here for your project. And that would also include the reply generator and the PFP generator if you want to tack that on. So yeah, as you said, yes, sir, Baby Draco, yes, we make it as simple as possible. Click, 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 click. That's all. The amount of clicks and thought that you can cut back on, that's the key to doing it. Thank you, Tom. Yes, yeah, appreciate it, man. Like I said, I cannot wait to show you guys where this is at once we get this launched. It's gonna be just such an amazing product for us. It's gonna be just an amazing product for all our community members, amazing product for Lunar Pump when people go and launch their tokens. Having access to something like this is going to make it so much easier for them. If they're doing raids, if they're doing this, that, or the other, they can be like, and like I said, I want this to be to the point where people are setting up. It's like, okay, who's got the coin market cap? I'm setting up the DEX tools. I'm setting up the this or that. Who's got the social swarm, right? Who's setting up the social swarm for the community once we get going? So, and again, there's loads of other features that I haven't mentioned in it yet. I just slightly mentioned one that's called summon the swarm. But no detail. I can't go into too much detail on that just yet, but it is going to be awesome. I've talked to Sean about it in the background and the guys, and it's going to be a game changer. You can try and imagine what that might look like, but yeah, it's going to be. Yes, Chester, perseverance is the hard work you do after you get tired of doing the hard work you already did. I could not agree more. And yeah, that goes, man, is that true in the crypto space? That is for sure. LFG, brother. Yeah, let's hang on in there, dude. Let's keep building. Let's keep innovating. We also see that like so much is changing in the landscape, politically even now, and regulation wise, and this and that. So, as we progress here, things are moving, shaking. We just got to remain amorphous, be able to pivot, be able to move and utilize. And again, that's why I'm kind of glad there hasn't been like hundreds of millions of dollars, because I mean, I just don't think we needed it. I mean, I think so much was built, so much was already done. Like, we just need the community really to just rally behind this thing and drive it on. And I feel like we can achieve that, what are your thoughts, Sean, on this latest endeavor here, this product that we're going to be launching pretty soon, just as an addition to everything?
Oh, I mean, I love it. Yeah, I
Yes,
can't
sir.
wait to have it rolled out full time
Yep,
and ham it
absolutely.
up. Yeah, I mean, again, we're super close to everything being rolled out. And again, I know it seems like everything is stalled, and I said it last week, but I do want to reiterate. One of the biggest reasons why it seemed like we were moving so fast in the beginning is because we started developing everything before we even announced everything. So again, we came as it's a something we talked about plenty of times. We came out of pocket to start the development on the blockchain and everything else. So when we first announced it, the blockchain was already essentially in test mode, or testnet, I should say, when we announced what was happening. So we were already ahead of the game. So now we kind of reached to a point where everything or development started happening with certain things in real time. So now you're actually seeing the full length of the development process, not just from like the 60% on mark and on. So that's kind of why it seems like things have slowed down a little bit. But Lunar Pump is really right there and got those numbers figured out for you. So on token launches on Solana, there's roughly, give or take, obviously some days will change, there's roughly $173 million worth of daily volume going through these token launches, tens of thousands of tokens launching. You're looking at a 5% share. That's about 8.6 million. So even just getting 5% of that, you're looking at $8.6 million worth of volume. For us, that would be 173,000 per day, 5.1 million per month, and $62.2 million per year with just a 5% market share. Like I said, from the get-go, even just a 1% market share changes everything for Infinion. So if we can just capture 1% of that $173 million of trading volume on these token launchers, I would consider that a success, especially early on. It just shows you that we don't need to overtake Les Bulk. Hey, we do. Everyone's lives here that's listening is completely changed. We overtake them, awesome, but that's not even what's required. See, again, like Baby Draco, 1%, all we need, and it would be an absolute game changer. You're talking blockchain getting listed on DEX tools, DEX. I mean, you're talking about funding for everything without VC funding. So it would be a complete win across the board, which is why this product is so important to us, because we don't want to need outside funding. We would preferably prefer to fund it ourselves. And then the whole beginning conversation that we had, that doesn't even take place anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. And that's the thing. And that's why, I'm so happy that like VCs, yes, a necessary evil at times, it's depending, but look at it like this. There's not a lot, right? It's very small. It's very conservative. It's just enough to keep things going, keep things ticking over, to remain frugal, to remain sensible about how this goes, and to be able to keep the lights on, right? Which is, you never know how things are going to go in this space. So, in the situation we're in right now, I'm totally fine with it, dude. I'm very happy with it. Like, we got so many products out there. We got so much more coming. We got all these shows running that you can see down the bottom here. The community is going to be growing. Yeah, it's the calm before the storm, but there has to be a calm, because the storm doesn't come across as much of a storm if it's been stormy beforehand. So you got to get that calmness down. That means we're preparing. That means we're building. That means we're trying to get ready for this to go. Quick question here: will Source Swarm AI revenue feed the bits like everything else? Maybe it's already answered and I missed it. Yeah, there will be. Like, we're still ironing out the exact numbers on it. What that's going to be, but yes, everything that's coming in, to Infinion, whatever that is, yeah, there will definitely be portions of it going to the bits. Everything else will be feeding into the whole entire ecosystem here. So, and again, like with all these products and everything that's been launched right now, everything that's coming soon, and there's going to be more, because like as the landscape changes, new things happen, right? And then people got to adjust. And when projects and the landscape itself requires that adjustment, that means products need to be created or adjusted also to cater for that. So that's where the innovation comes in, so that's what Social Swarm was born out of. That's what that's what the ICO system was born out of, was seeing a problem in the market and saying, look, we are never going to get mass adoption. We're never going to get where we want to be as an entire culture, as a, a decentralized financial system, if we aren't able to, like, to some degree self-regulate and create the products and the softwares that are required to keep people relatively safe as possible while still maintaining decentralization. So just doing that and having the ability to do that, and when you're in the field like this and you're experiencing the volatility of the space, you got to act fast, you got to think on your feet, you got to be able to build quick. So that's kind of what's been happening over on this end. And again, having that ecosystem pumping, and like once we get going, and like Sean just said, like having even a tiny percentage of the market share could really get this new beast cranking for us.
Since man's pursuit of financial freedom became digital, the war between bear and bull has endlessly raged on, with no end in sight. For many years, man has been at the mercy of these beasts. Until now. From the shadows, a new beast has risen. An ever-appreciating, underlying asset means that in the land of the dragon, bears and bulls are powerless. Join the DeFi revolution with Infinaeon, the infinitely smarter blockchain.
And that's how it works. Like the more like people go in, get involved and interact in the ecosystem, the more powerful that dragon becomes, so that's the goal here. We kick that spark off, we get these gears cranking, we draw people in with all these products, all this stuff, offer the community as much as we can, and then we get this baby pouring. And like Sean said, tiny percent, we don't need a massive percent here for to be able to do that. And you're very welcome, Singma. Those bits, yes, they're going to be looking very, very attractive very soon. Yeah. The more stuff we crank out, the more attractive everything gets, because just sheer involvement in the ecosystem and holding, whether it's staking on Lunar Pump, staking with Infinion, whatever it's going to be, there's a lot of ways, for this whole machine to kind of crank over. But yeah, I'm excited for it, dude. I really am. What do we got here? What was the reason for posting wrong total token burn on X twice today? Just curious who was responsible in the marketing team for this error. Oh, I did not know that. Sorry, I didn't see that. We'll look into it.
Was that the AI? It may have been.
No, I think it might have been. I think it might have been Growthy. Maybe had a mistake on the back end when they posted that, so it might have got the number wrong. But yes, thanks for bringing that to our attention, Dan. We will look at that and get it sorted. Appreciate you, sir. Yeah, it's got the goosebumps going. Yeah, I love that ad too. But it does. We went for the old Game of Thrones vibe, right? But I think it kind of sums it up perfectly, right? It is, once that gets cranking, and there's a lot of people using the chain, the bears and the bulls, they don't really have much of a say at that point, once it's really turning over. So here's Adam with the answer for us. There was a miscommunication with the Growthy team. It is now corrected. It wasn't twice. It's correct right now. All right. Awesome. Sweet. It's good to know people got their finger on the pulse. That's what you want when you've got your conviction play. Yes, sir. You keep an eye on everything. You make sure. And hey, keep us on our toes too, man. There's a lot going on here. So sometimes we're going to make some slip ups here and there too. And having people in the community like that, letting us know that, dude, that's good. That's always a good thing. And we're like Sean, and we've always said, we're massively open for feedback, all that kind of stuff on anything, everything. That's why we always try to be as transparent as possible. All the shows that go on throughout the week down here in order for people to come in, ask questions live. And again, if anybody does have questions, shout out to everybody on X, YouTube, Twitch, watching across. We appreciate you guys. Got any questions, just drop them in there. We're keeping an eye in the chat. Got anything to say, any remarks? But yeah, I mean, The general sentiment, of course, is always a little edgy in the calm before the storm, and the token is doing this and that. But
Yep.
it doesn't matter. We keep marching, we keep soldiering on, we keep building, we keep innovating. That's the
Yep.
most important thing,
And I mean, the foundation's laid. We have YouTube accounts like mine and Joe's. We have our Twitter accounts, which have good active followings on them. We have all these shows lined up. We have Moon Monday. We have Infinaeon Friday, which is currently watching. We have Lunar Pump Radio. There's a good chance we can create more. So everything for this platform is already laid out. We said we're going to be transitioning really quickly after to get the video stuff integrated. So we want that to happen. Twitch, Kick, and YouTube, I believe, right off the bat. It'd be very easy for people to go ahead and stream straight from those platforms to Lunar Pump. So again, the groundwork is laid. We just got to get the sucker launched and go. We obviously are going to be doing X marketing. I know me, Joe, really going to amp everything up in the high gear with our YouTube and our Twitter. My Twitter, Joe's Twitter, Mike has a solid Twitter. Lunar Pump, Infinion, everyone's Twitter. It's going to be rocking and rolling. All of you guys posting everything using that tweet generator. Let's pump Lunar Pump Fun everywhere. Let's make it to where it can't be ignored. Again, we're working with different teams to get some good runners. The goal is to maybe start off, hey, if we have a $50 million runner right off the bat, awesome. Definitely necessarily can't be expected, but let's get some $1 million runners on the platform. Let's get to $1-2 million market caps. We feel like we have some good plans in place to be able to aid some projects launching on the platform to be able to reach those numbers. And then we can really, hopefully, way sooner than later, really get that runner off of the platform, like a Bonk or like someone like that, which is very possible, especially in the meme world on Solana with our connections, with everyone we know. It's definitely possible to happen. So just be on the lookout for that. Of course, we're going to let it be known to the community which ones we fully support, which ones we're going to be pushing, which ones we'll be talking about on Moon Monday and Infinion Friday and Lunar Pump Radio and all that stuff. And we'll make it be known because obviously we want everyone listening now to be able to get in as early as humanly possible to plays that we're going to push across the platform.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And of course, again, with all those marketing outlets and all these shows as well, the ultimate idea here too is to be able to obviously not just offer these products, but to offer this kind of exposure by building out Lunar Pump Radio, by building out like the shows that we're doing right now, having guests come on here to talk about, we got a project in there that bonds, hits a milli. We're like, hey, let's have them on. Let's talk about their experience. Did they use the ICO? Did they not? And just utilizing that, making content out of it, making clips out of it, all of these kinds of things we need to use. Like Sean said, right now, I know everything is kind of just chugging along here till we get to this point, but on the back end, there's so much prep work being done. It's insane. And again, you're in real life billboard, guys. Get out there, support the project. All the money that comes in here goes back into the project. You want to rock some Moonboy stuff, you want to rock some Infinion stuff, whatever you like, go check it out. Prices are great, merch is awesome. There's some good variety on there right now. As we move forward, there's going to be even more adding to it. Get your in real life billboard up and running. You're holding a bag, dude, wear a shirt, whatever you want, right? So but yeah, so just sorry. No, you're all good.
I kicked you. I didn't mean to kick you, but yeah, I just wanted to give everyone another look at the launch pad. So we have Lunar Pump, and again, we're going to alter these when we get going. Probably with the next update, we're going to have trending bars where you have your top projects either right here or right here. They'll probably be popping like you see on Pump Fun, like flashing and different things like that. Obviously, we can't really have that set up from the get-go because we got to get some tokens launched. With that, this will lead to our social site, which could be another potential good revenue generator for us. When you hop on over, launching a token, super simple. You can launch normal. You can launch ICO. Within minutes, have your tokens launched. As you can see, we have all of ours coming right here. Of course, it's got to be Joe, I guess. Or Mike did that for Joe. So yeah, you can see all the testing. And again, we're getting there. We're getting super close. We are going to improve this UI, I think, even more. Like I said, we're going to have the trending tokens. They're going to be popping. I know when we had a talk about the UI, a lot of people wanted to see, like on Pump Fun, like those tokens popping. So we'll definitely have that going up and running. And then again, when you go up in here, like let's say you go right here, there's going to be an option for you to stream from right here. So let's say I launched my token. It was called Test 2. We went ahead and I can actually stream live like we're doing now from our YouTube account to right here. And yeah, I can even get with the team from the token that may be launching on the platform that we're backing. Once we're there, and I can maybe get access to their page, and we can even maybe do a full Lunar Pump show, or Infinaeon Friday or Moon Monday show, probably maybe even streaming from the Lunar Pump Fun page, so which would be pretty cool. And yeah, do different things like that. But yeah, I'm super excited for it. And again, just like you guys, can't wait for this to get off the ground.
Yes, sir. Conviction, conviction, conviction. We're going to keep here. We're going to keep building. No doubt about it. Yeah, Dan, thanks for all the questions and stuff today. And again, everybody follow Dan's lead. If there's anything at all that you are concerned about, curious about, just pop it in the chat right there. We've no problem when there's nothing that's out of bounds here, unless, cloaked in an NDA for whatever reason, right? That's the only ever reason. And we always talk about as much as is humanly possible to let everybody know everything that's going on. And yes, transparency is the number one thing that we want, for people to be able to commit to this, to get involved in this. And that's what people need. So yeah, shout out to everybody for watching, tuning in, keep the questions coming in. Probably got another few minutes here before we do wrap it up. So last minute questions. Again, if you haven't, go and jump into the Telegram. And, we always have someone in there. If you miss one of these shows, or if you're watching it back, you need an answer right away, jump into the Telegram, join us in there. We're always live. There's always some community member that will be able to answer it for you. Most stuff can be answered at whitepaper.infinion.com for like an overview. If you want to show people how this all works and the way it's all set up, you can go and check that out and send that to people. Nice, easy way. Tons of content on YouTube already. Sean and the guys made tons of videos about everything. And, again, we're live every single week, twice a week. And you got Lunar Pump Radio, and then we got Spaces going on, which will all these will ramp up to once this all kind of kicks off. So, yeah, happy days. I don't see any more questions coming in, Sean, at this moment in time. But
yeah, well, let's go ahead. We'll go ahead and shut it down. Like I said, guys, we will be back for Moon Monday next week at 5 p.m. Eastern. Try to get the whole crew here, and then by Lunar Pump Radio and by Infinaeon Friday. But that will do it for today's episode. That's Mr. P. I'm DeFi Sean. And until next time.